Oh, yo. Oh, crap, man, my bad. I was way into that comic book I got. Hopefully, we can bring on one of those artists or writers at a later point in time. But this is the questionnaire. Yeah, I am the unknown factor, So, it's the questionnaire. I got my brother, that Zalian Jay D-Day Hardaway, in the house. Yeah, today. Oh, today on episode 3, though it should be episode 2. I know there's only 2 episodes out, but whatever, one got lost. We went over that in the last episode. We won't again. Today, we have a special guest who has had a chance to look at several, or has had a chance to just work with what I would call a group of iconic characters. Another character I would definitely call a cult iconic character, and it makes his own creations as well. Ariel Medel, how do you do?
Hi, hello. Thank you for inviting me to your podcast.
Man, it is a pleasure. Yeah, it is a pleasure, Ariel. It really is. Um, there's so many things I want to get into with you. But I'll tell you what, the thing I want to ask first, Ariel, is what made you initially pick up that pen and start drawing the art you draw, which, oh, by the way, and I know y'all, if you're on the video, you can see it because we're showing stuff off that Ariel said we could show off because, that's the point. But what made you initially pick that up and just start drawing, man? And when did you do it? I'm curious.
Well, ever since I was a child, I remember that I drew, and so I really don't know what made me do it, but I've always felt that the need to express myself, drawing and telling stories. And when I was little, I would draw Mickey Mouse and those kinds of characters, and later on, that evolved into comic book characters like Superman and all of that stuff. But I really don't know why I started doing it. I just know that I wanted to do it.
All I know is right off the bat, Hardaway, we got to give him hell for the character's name he just said. Well, what do you mean, man? You don't like Superman either. So I got to edit around something. That's fine, Hardaway. It's fine. I am an editing master. There's a reason that the way we film it is not the way it looks, yo. We do tricks over here. I am the unknown factor. That's what's up. Keep that stuff unknown. Dang it. If you want to hear the R-rated version of a podcast, go check out Chosen World. But that's not what I'm getting into. I'm curious, Ariel. You just
Yeah.
brought up Superman. Is the reason we're going to give you a little crap here. Uh, but what makes that your favorite character? I want to know because I'll be honest, I despise Superman, man, and I can get into why. But I'm just curious as your reasons for liking him as a character.
Well, I've always been felt attracted to mythology, and of course, Superman is based on mythology. It has the same elements that Greek mythology, that the heroes in Greek mythologies and other mythologies. So that's basically what attracts me so much from the character. What I find so appealing from the character, the mythological aspect of it.
You gave an answer I can in no way, shape, or form be mad at, Ariel. Yeah, you really, really, really did, man. I didn't expect you to have a solid like I can't be mad at an answer. And I, I do not know how that happened. Well, let's just get into some of your current works, man. Right? That's what I want to do. And I just got to show it off because as I said, I think you've had a chance to mess around with several characters within the comic book atmosphere when some of them have gone far beyond. The one I'm talking about far beyond would be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which you just did a cover
Mhm.
for, which by the way is phenomenal. That is
Thank
that
you.
is a
Thank you so
that is
much.
yeah, that is a dope cover, man. Y'all can check it out. If you're watching the video, you can see it right now because Ariel and IDW were gracious. Oh no, Dynamite were gracious. No, IDW. I had it right the
ADW.
first time. I had it right the first time, man. I was Dynamite's Evil Ernie.
Mhm.
IEW is it's because I was thinking the 2 different ones he's working, man. He's working the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he's got Evil Ernie coming out over on there. But just working all over the place. Yeah, but there is more. But let's get into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles first, man. Because I mean, those are characters that, in my opinion, are kind of iconic, just because of they're so established. There's been films, there's been everything. What was it like to take such well-known characters and be able to work with them?
Well, right now, up to this point, I've only done that cover, so I haven't actually drawn the turtles. Well, I did a test for them, a test page in which the turtles appear, but so far, what they have given is only that cover. Fortunately, maybe, hopefully, in the future, there will be more, and I do hope I get the chance to actually draw the turtles. But I had a lot of fun doing the test page. That's on my Facebook account. I only did quick pencils because they just wanted to see how I would handle the
It's also,
characters.
if he's emailed it to me after the interview, it's also right over somewhere in this proximity, and you can check that, and you can check that out if, like I said, if you're watching this on video.
Yeah, I'll
That's
do that. I'll email it. And but right now, what I've done for them is that cover for one of the, I think it's one of the times for an event called the Armageddon game, and it's called the Alliance, and it's focused on a character named Karai. So you can see on the cover that character and two of the foot soldiers of the Foot Clan.
all right. I'm good now. I'm good. Look, it's the unknown factor issue. I swear. Like, I literally have to redo a thing, but whatever. That it was y'all are fine. Yeah, man. And I'll tell you why I'm excited, to be real honest, Ariel, is is because there's another character I said that is, in my opinion, a classic cult character. You know what I mean? That
Mhm.
you just had a chance to work on it. You worked with this character far deeper. I say, hey, that's this one. That's this one right here. Whoa! As I kill him, right? Not that you can kill Evil Ernie, you know. But what was it like to work with him, especially knowing that I think when you're doing something with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there's a large fan base. A lot of it's children, though. When you're
Mhm.
doing something with Evil Ernie, I think you're dealing with people probably more my age, or
Mhm.
or at least older, that have that know the history of chaos. I would assume at least a little bit,
Mhm.
and what comes there. What did you have any like? Did you have any worries or anything going into that? Because I mean, like I said, that's a character that's got. I mean, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have a longer history, to be fair, but they have a way more public history. Evil Ernie has a history that I think is tighter knitted into the comic book community. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? With Brian Pomala creating him and everything, and how he's got passed around because some accountant at Chaos didn't pay their taxes. You're a bad accountant, whoever you are. If you hear this, I don't like you. I want to point that out. I really don't, Ariel. I'm not kidding. I don't like that guy. I was digging Chaos's work. I would have loved to have seen that story carry on, and even then, you being able to pick it up. So, what was it like? Like, did you have any worries as far as dealing with that character in that? And out of curiosity, let's just say it was possible for you, like Chaos continued. What do you think would have been the difference if you working with Evil Ernie in that capacity, where the story had continued from the '90s as opposed to where I think it was rebooted in the early 2000s?
Mhm. Well, actually, yes, I had a lot of worries because since you like you mentioned, the character already has a fan base, and I think they like the character in a certain way, and actually this is a very different take. Actually, it's Evil Ernie, but the guy who's like possessed by that entity is another person. It's not the original one. So this is
But
a new guy.
wait, pause. I don't mean to interrupt you, Ariel, but you're telling me that it's not Ernest Fairchild. It's Ernest
No,
Fairchild possessing someone.
no, it's an entity um, called Evil Ernie. which is possessing this new guy. He's like, I don't know, maybe like 20 years old or something like that. So it's a different take on the character, and that was one of my worries precisely because I thought some people are gonna hate me. I'm not writing it. I'm not making the story. I like the story. I like the different take, but I understand that some people will not because they have that much love for the original character. But I thought, well, somebody's gonna hate me. Also, um, the approach artistically, I knew that um, I wanted to go close to what to what Stephen Hughes did. However, it did not fit the this new character, the script, and how the character behaved. So what I did instead is I said, well, I have to create my own version with some influence from the original artist, and I basically took a little bit that I liked from other artists' take, and I put my own taste on it, and I said, well, whatever happens, happens, because I gotta do it, and I'm gonna do the best that I can, and I actually had a lot of fun with it, and I think that if you disconnect from the fact that it's not Ernest Fairchild and try to look at it from another perspective, you can actually enjoy it because it's a fun book. It's
But
more in the line of, I would say, things like the Evil Dead movies, like Army of Darkness,
oh,
that kind of
nice.
vibe, like humor and horror. But there's a lot of gore. There's a lot of horror elements also besides the humor, and it is not silly humor, but that kind of humor like from those movies. You know.
And I gotta say, real quick, Hardaway, stop your notifications. You've got so much. He's Ariel. He's making my job harder. He really is, and this interview more difficult. I'm gonna and sitting there chewing on something. So you stop the notifications. I'm still gonna go on to the next question, man. Because I'll be honest, and I kind of regret. Like I looked at the piece of art you sent that was Evil Ernie, and as a fan of Evil Ernie, as somebody that read pretty much his entire Chaos run, the stuff where Armageddon and blah blah blah, like where they ended Chaos and all of that, and the stuff that they did with Dynamite, where they did the rehashing of Ernest Fairchild and all that, which I thought was phenomenal. Uh, Personally, I'm very much more interested to read this just based on what you said. But Smiley is there, right?
Yes.
That's like,
Yeah.
okay, that's all that matters, dude. Got the button. The button's important. The button is key. The button must be there.
Yes, it is there.
Did you take a
Smile is
kind of a
there.
different take on that?
Well, yeah, also because as I said, I was trying to have some connection with the original material as much as I could, but I went with what the script said. So what actually not because I wasn't told how to draw Smiley or how to draw Evil Ernie, but from the vibes that I got from the script, from the feel that I got from the script, that's how I developed the character more and more, both Ernie and Smiley. So if you look at it, maybe you'll like it. It's very similar, I think, because there's not much to do with Smiley because it's just a
Yeah,
face that
yeah,
smiles. So,
yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that's why I just had to bring that because I regret like I looked at that picture, but for some reason, I don't know why, I was like I didn't look for Smiley, which as an
Mhm.
Evil for Ernie fan kind of upsets me that I didn't look for Smiley, but I feel like I haven't let Hardaway ask a dang thing.
He's there. He's there,
Yeah, and
and
now
he
he's like
plays
now
a big part in the story. Oh yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Well, everything. I started reading Invincible about, I think it was around 2013 or 2014. I don't remember, because a friend of mine recommended. And he said, "This is sick. This is awesome. Read it." And I read I think number 70 or something like that. But then it was coming out in Mexico, and I said I will wait because I want to buy it, and it's cheaper to buy it in Mexico than to buy it the American version. So I said I will wait because it was like they had published these thick volumes of it, and they were just like 10 issues before number 70. So I said I will wait, but they actually took a long time to publish those. I think maybe they just published them like a year ago. So
This
I
is
was waiting and waiting, and when the animated series came out, I said I gotta read the rest. So I got them digitally and I read the rest of the series, uh, all of it. And what I like about Invincible, I mean, I like the story. I like how it's written. I love the art. Ryan Otley is an influence, and he's amazing. And what I like is that it's like Dragon Ball, Superman, but for mature readers, you know. And that's what I like about it, because I don't mind the PG or PG-13 comics. I actually like them. However, seeing this take where you can see these beings who have these immense powers beating each other in a more realistic way, because it's not realistic, but you know what I mean.
no
You
one
know
can
what I
punch a
mean.
planet. Yeah.
And yeah, because I mean, you see Superman and Goku. Well, Goku is more violent, but it's not like they just get a few hits here and there, and and that's all. But these guys actually destroy themselves with how they fight, which is more realistic in that sense. And I like the action, the character development is awesome, and all of that.
All right. Well,
So yeah.
man, you made me want to ask three questions all at once, and none of them are related, so I can't do that. So we're just gonna start with the one that's the most related. Have you checked out the animated series for Invincible?
Yeah, actually,
Thoughts?
when the animated series was going to come out, I finished reading the comic, and I watched the series.
How you think it holds up?
And I think it's very good. I like it a lot. I tried not to compare because it's different. It will never be the same. So I tried just to enjoy it. However, my main concern is that I love American comics, but the animated versions are not even close to anime, you know.
Thank
So
you, thank you. Real quick
and
now,
I
just
don't know why, because I know they have they should have everything to do animation of that quality, but they don't do it. I don't know why, but yeah. Mhm.
can I say
Mhm.
though, if we're gonna talk the animated, that's one place I'll give DC props. They're animated, even the animation, in my opinion, is pretty phenomenal. But that's besides the point. But you let me just right into my next question, Ariel. I appreciate it, dude. You're making this interview so easy you don't even know, right? Because you said they changed it a lot. And I ask you, what comic book film did you think lived up to the comic at least? Now, your response was Civil War, which I can't argue with, man, right?
Mhm.
But you make a valid point as far as you just, I mean, they couldn't have done it because they didn't even
No,
have the properties to everything. You know what I mean? Which
no,
is a totally valid
and
point.
it would have cost like a
Oh my
billion
God.
dollars, you know.
Oh
So
God.
I understand it, but I answered I mean, the question was, which movie do you think doesn't hold up? And
I,
Civil War, even though I enjoyed it, it doesn't hold up.
yeah,
And
dude, that was an
I'm,
awesome
I'm not
answer.
saying it's bad.
No.
I'm not saying it's bad, but it doesn't hold up to the comic book.
Well, and you make me wonder, man, do you think that's a problem when comics get transferred to other mediums? Do you think it's an issue where people are too set on why is it not just like the comic and have a problem with just enjoying it?
Yeah, well, I mean, when I went to see the X-Men movie, the Apocalypse. Uh, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed that movie, even though it's not really good. But I was like, oh, Psylocke looks cool. Magneto is doing some stuff. There's action, and that I'm eating my popcorn, and I mean, I was there for that. Of course, I wanted something as good as Days of Future Past or something like that, but it wasn't that good. But I mean, I was able to enjoy it in the same way that you can enjoy. More childish cartoon, you know, in that sense. But I there was this friend I went to with two friends, and one of them was very upset. They didn't put this, and they didn't put that, and I told him, man, that's impossible. You cannot do that. I mean, uh, there's not enough money to put all of that stuff. They cannot do it. It's just unreal. You know, it's not realistic to want because it's so much easier in comics to have like these huge battles, and even though it's a lot of work, and I know it, to draw a huge battle is not the same kind of money that you're going to spend in having like, you know, uh, I
Ugh.
mean,
Whew.
yeah. Mhm. 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 Yeah. Mhm.
Wait. Ariel, you want to smack him or you want me to? Because like you're telling me that comic books are not part of our. Okay, no, okay. Okay, again, Ariel, you want to smack him or you want me to? Because like Superman has been part of the American culture for a long freaking time, dude. Christopher Reeves, Batman being played by yeah, no, comics are part of our culture. I Hardaway, I just hold on a second, man. I'm gonna ask my third question. I this he he sounded Ariel, I completely I just want to know I completely disagree with him. I just want you to know that, Ariel. I am a firm believer that comic books, especially when you look at Marvel DC, have become a complete part of American culture. That's why the MCU is a thing. It's still comic books, bro. Hey, well, then let's spin to that, Ariel. Right? Why do you think it is that sales of physical copies have dropped so much? Do you think it's just purely the fact that people want it digitally? I mean, because as musicians, I mean, we both feel that people don't want a physical CD. People want to go stream it on
Mm.
Spotify or YouTube or whatever. Do you think it's the same thing on the comic book industry, or do you think there's something else that's led to that?
I think that, and this is my personal
Okay.
opinion, subjective as an individual who's not seeing everything at the same time in the world, you know? But I think that with manga, they actually read the mangas. Uh, they enjoy reading the mangas. They buy the mangas. They collect the mangas. And with American comics, a lot of people buy them because of the covers. I've had friends told me that they hate the story, they hate even the interior art, but they are just buying it for the covers. The other thing is that I think that a lot of people uh, are inclined uh, to like that the comic book culture more than the actual comics. So they like the movies, they like the cartoons, but they don't read the comics. And I mean, when the I remember when Men of Steel came out, I had a friend who told me, that's not my Superman, and I told him, when was the last time you bought an issue of Superman? And he said, "No, well, I don't think I have never bought an issue of Superman." And I told him, how can you say it's not your Superman? How,
Ah,
you know, and that and I'm just mentioning that to point out that a lot of people, it's in pop culture, the comics, but not the actual reading of comics.
can't,
So
man.
there's
Oh,
a lot of people who like comics, who like the characters, who like seeing them in T-shirts, in merchandise, in movies, in whatever, in action figures even, but who don't really go and say, I'm going to actually buy the comics and read them and get into the story and follow the characters through the stories in the books. And there's also a lot of piracy, and that may be a factor also.
can I say, Ariel, you just hurt my heart a little, like,
No, I
right
mean,
here.
I
I
also
know, no,
hurt
no,
my
no, no.
heart.
I know,
It's
dude. I know, and I know it does. But like, because everything you said makes sense. Because like, I remember being 15. I'm 38, so that's more than 20 years ago. Reading comic books like in school, and you get made fun of. And now it's like, oh, you're reading a comic and it's cool because it is part of pop culture. But at the same time, you're right. I can't think of how many times I've seen somebody like, holding one of these, actually reading it. Which, by the way, this is phenomenal. If anybody's looking for something dope and likes aliens, this is the first thing that Marvel did, and I think it's dope. But not to promo somebody else's work, Ariel. Sorry, but that's just actually what I'm currently in the middle of. I promise, when I get that Evil Ernie graphic novel, somebody's gonna be like, "Why are you promoting that?" Well, I'm like, first off, I interviewed him, but second off, it's dope. I did it to him too. Candid. Hey, look. Firstly, do you have a question, Hardaway? And secondly, why are we getting on to sports, man? Ariel, do you watch sports?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I
well,
watch some
see,
football
I
and
don't.
a few other things, but
Wait,
I'm
when you
not a
say
super fan, like a crazy fan. I'm not, but I like sports. Yeah,
give me wrestling all day, every day, but that's a whole different. I prefer pro wrestling. What can I say? What's
it's
up?
good.
Ah,
Mhm.
hey, real
Yeah,
quick, I apologize, Ariel. I don't mean to interrupt. I definitely want to hear the answer to that question. Hardaway, keep your dome in front of the sun, will you? Much love, bro. Yeah, I just like, yeah, geez, oh, freaking Pete. Because somebody's gonna be watching this podcast and be like, ah, yeah. Sorry, I'll get to that. I just had to point that out. I don't want to blind nobody.
yeah. Well, it's Delita 3017, and well, I've always had my own ideas, and but this is last year I actually started creating some characters for another comic involving Cthulhu, but for some reasons that got cold. You know, it's like for me, at least, when I'm excited about a project, if too much time passes, sometimes it's like it gets cold. It's
Uh,
you're not as driven to continue doing it, and so I put that on hold. And but this year I was drawing some pinup characters. I drew like a robot lady and like a witch and stuff like that, and I draw an Adelita, which is a female Mexican soldier from the revolution. They actually existed, and they dressed like that. And and when I did that, I had actually thought before I want to do um, a comic book, because I like versions, fictionalized versions of historical characters, you know. And I have some other ideas, but at that moment, I published an image of an Adelita, and there were people like, "Oh, this is so cool," and all that, and I said, "I gotta do it now, because otherwise somebody else will do it." And I'm always like thinking about ideas, and I thought this is like the perfect thing to do right now, because it doesn't involve me researching for the story, because a lot of stuff I already know because it's from Mexico. So I thought I should do it, and I had some time, and I said I should do it quick. So I did the first part, the first almost the first half of the comic, and recently I had some more time, and I said I'm going to do the second part. So I finished it. It's 22 pages of art. It's already colored. It's already lettered. Sorry for the pronunciation.
oh, you're good,
And
man. Don't sweat
and
that.
it's all done. So like you said, it has a lot of post-apocalyptic things, but there's a story also in there, which I don't want to reveal because it's supposed to surprise people at some point in the next issues. Uh, there may be, I'm thinking about or six issues of it. It will depend on how good the Kickstarter for the first issue does. So, and
So look, and that go check out Ariel Medel's Kickstarter. I'm gonna tell you, there's gonna be a link in the YouTube video. I don't know if I'll be able to put a link in the Spotify and the Apple, but there will be a link in the YouTube video. So if you're at YouTube, all you got to do is click at that link and you can go over and support Ariel without, even having to find or Google anything. If you're watching this, all you got to do is click one thing and you can do that. And that's what's up. Ariel, give me that link, please. But man, can I just say, you've just set up so many questions in my head from one, out of curiosity. I mean, you've worked with other writers. That's primarily what you've done. You know what I mean? So what was it like, as opposed to taking someone's script and making the art? What was the difference between that and creating the story yourself? You know what I mean? Because that has to be a very different process.
Yeah, actually, it's different in many ways, and as crazy as it sounds, I've always thought of myself more like a writer than an artist, because actually the impulse to tell stories is because of to write the stories is because there's a story. So there was a point in my life when I wanted to write books, to be a writer also. So I've always had that side of me, and I'm pretty critical when I'm drawing comics. So I look at the script, I analyze the script, I have a pretty good idea of what involves telling a story. But I was a bit rusty because I hadn't really actually written for a long time. But the process is a bit different in the sense that now I have to think of the story also, not only how to draw the story that's already being written. And I think like a movie. I come up with a concept, then from that concept, I start developing a story. And once I have that, and where it's gonna take place and all that, what's gonna happen, basically, like in general terms in the story, I start thinking about more specific things, and I visualize it like a movie. I'm seeing a movie, but the language of a movie is very different from a comic. So I have to translate the movie that I have into the language of a comic book. What will work and what will not work. Some scenes might work in a way in a film, but now I have to think maybe that's not working for the comic book. So I have to think in panels and all of that. So that's the difference. And actually, that's how I write my comics. I think of what's happening. I have some sense of the dialogue. I think of some key dialogues, some key phrases, things that I know that have to be said in a certain way, but that I might change when I'm actually finishing the comic book. And then after I have the the pages broken down in rough layouts of what's gonna actually happen visually, then I start refining the script, and I write it down. I start writing it down. The captions, I start writing the dialogues and all of that, and making tweaks from what I had in my head, because it's maybe not fitting what I have in the rough layouts. Opposed to when I receive the script, I just think about how to put that on a page. So yeah, it's different.
Yeah, I could totally buy that, man. And I'll tell you, to that end, I'm curious, because you obviously have had a privilege of working with several different writers. Is there someone, writer wise, in the comic book industry that you would love to get one of their scripts and do art for? Like, if you could pick a writer to work with, is there somebody that's kind of like, ooh, ooh, yeah, I want to do art for such and such?
Mm, I gotta say, maybe. maybe Chris Claremont
Oh,
or John Byrne, probably.
nice on both accounts, man. And
Yeah.
now I got to pick a bone with you because we do a pre-show questionnaire, right? And we ask it, what's your favorite film? You said sci-fi, followed closely by horror. Which, when you said that, my first instinct was like, well, he's gonna pick this movie, right? Right? Because like, what better sci-fi horror film is there besides Alien? And you put The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. Well, we go back to what I said about mythology. So, Star Wars, at least the first 6 films had a lot of that. And I think, especially The Empire Strikes Back and also The Return of the Jedi have a lot of mythological elements to it. People are like, maybe they think the story is original, but it is not. That all of that is in mythology. You can find it in Greek mythology, in other mythologies, in Buddhism, and a lot of stuff. So Darth Vader being the father of Luke, it was not really Lucas' idea. He read it somewhere in mythology. And I'm not saying that in a bad way because
No,
he got inspired by it. But all of those aspects which come from mythology, the mystical aspect also of Star Wars is very appealing to me. And that's why that's my favorite film. And it's a tragedy as opposed to part the first one when I like it a lot, but it was like everybody's happy and life is not like that. So and the third one is very good. I like it a lot, the Return of the Jedi. uh, but it's like a mixture of A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back. So I think it's, although it's really good for me, Empire is superior to it. It might have been the director, I don't know, but maybe.
well, weren't they all
Oh.
George Lucas? George Lucas did those first
Mm,
three,
no, no,
didn't he?
no, 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 no. I don't know the pronunciation of the. I know the name, but let me check it out quickly.
Look, I got Ariel. Google this shit. How funny is that? Ah, I love it.
Yeah,
Like, hold on, man.
Irving Kershner was
Okay,
a director of The Empire Strikes Back.
huh.
And Lucas directed the first one. He directed the prequels, and Return of the Jedi was directed by, I don't Richard Marquand. So
Well,
maybe
I guess I learned something new every day because I thought they were all, especially the first three. I mean, as far as 4, 5, and 6, I thought those were definitely Lucas. But
no, the
man,
story,
thanks for
but the
teaching me.
story was his, but not the screenplay and not the direction. No, of course he was overseeing everything,
Yeah.
but with the second and third film he was more concerned about industrial light and magic.
Man, I always got another question. I was just trying to give you a chance to ask something, but my brain is like, I got 30. What do you mean?
I really don't know much about webtoons. Some people tell me that there are comics which are very popular, but I don't know. I don't have the information of how that popularity translates into
Financial
profit,
gain. Yeah.
profit for the creators. So maybe a million people see those comics, but if the creators are not making much money, that then it's not really something that is doing good. But I don't know. Maybe they're millionaires. I don't know. No. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I know which one. Mhm. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Mhm. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So,
Well,
and like I said, look, I hope y'all are watching this and not just listening to it, and you get to preview Ariel's artwork because I will be showing bits and pieces throughout from whatever we're talking
thank you.
about. That way, y'all can just see how phenomenal his artwork is. Because I'm telling, like that Ernie, like I said, I'm a fan, but I love the way you drew Ernie, man. And I mean, I've been a fan of Ernie since early Chaos years. You know what I mean? I've read all the Ernest Fairchild stuff and everything. So I mean, if that doesn't say something for you as an artist, I don't know what does, because you took a character that to me is a very cult iconic character, and I seen it and I was like, oh, dope. I'll be picking up that graphic novel when it comes out. Look, I pick up the comics, Ariel, but I'm 38 and I can't do that no more with my kid. I have to have a graphic that's like one little thing, and I'm like, okay, and I can put it on a shelf. It's just way easier. That's just me personally. Buy it however you want out there. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't care how you guys support the way you want it. It's just important to support dope artists all around. Yeah. Right. But the thing I want to get to next, man, is how you gonna love and hate most of your job all at once? You're just giving me no specifics.
Well,
Uh
um, it depends because there are times when the process is enjoyable, but there are times when that same process, which gives you joy, gives you grief because there's something that prevents you from actually enjoying it. You know, and it depends on. I would say it depends on the script.
uh
I've been lucky to work with many experienced writers and some other newbie writers who do very cool stuff, and I enjoy it. But there have been a few cases here and there where I feel like a little bit constrained,
just by the
like
script as it's written.
yeah, by the script. So in those cases, it's like I see the potential, and I mean, as an artist, and also with some knowledge of writing, I sometimes see like the potential that a certain scene has that is not really being taken advantage of, and that's when I'm like, oh, I would like to, just disregard all of what this says and they just do a crazy thing, or something with more action and stuff like that, and actually with Ernie, that's one of the freedoms which I had, that if I thought that he had to be like, oh, I could do it, but you cannot always do that. Sometimes it's like you have to go in a certain line, and there have been times when I have to convince the creators, what, let me go crazy on this. It's a comic book. Uh, it's not a soap opera. And fortunately, there are very cool guys who go, okay, I'll let you do it, and so I do it. But in those cases when I cannot do that, that's when the process is not as enjoyable as opposed to those times when I can go crazy, or just do things that the way that I think they should be done,
Yeah, can I say I love that you answered a question I was gonna ask before I even asked it, Ariel. It was phenomenal. Like you did, man. Because I was gonna ask specifically as far as like, you ever have back and forths with writers in regards to, hey man, I think this might work a little better. And I would, yeah, you just told me some of them are a-holes, some of them aren't.
Mhm.
It's I which I totally believe. I mean, that's just a human thing, I think. Um, I just really find it funny that, like I said, you answered that question before it was even asked, man. Hey, it kind of threw me off a little. So let's just flip this script, man. I'm curious. We ask, what your favorite comics were. You said initially it was the Avengers, and then it became the X-Men. Uh, and now, obviously, if you look at those two groups, they're very different, but kind of the same, but very different all at once. Because the Avengers are this group of heroes, and yay, ooh, look at them, they saved the world. And then the X-Men are this group of heroes, and boo, boo, they saved the world. Wait a second, you know what I mean? What do you think caused, like, what was it that initially drew you to the Avengers when you were younger, and then ended up drawing you to the X-Men later on? Was like there a specific thing?
Probably because as a kid, you're more like attracted to that idealized version of heroes. But when you're a teenager, you kind of see the X-Men, which I think is a more realistic take on what being a superhero would actually be like. Because unfortunately, sometimes you help people and they don't cheer for you, but quite the opposite. So I think that like, oh, we saved the city, and everyone like, go away, and that's for me it's a more realistic take on it, and probably, I don't know, maybe subconsciously, when you're a teenager, maybe you feel like that a little bit, like you're trying to do something but society is against you. I don't know, I've never been actually like that, but maybe subconsciously I didn't notice, and it was that. But also I would say that discovering these characters, which had these powers, like I mean, Thor is one of my favorite Marvel characters, but and and it's Captain America, but Thor is very very near Captain America, but from another angle, I mean, Thor is super cool and he's the god of thunder. And actually, for me, he's got this mythological aspect, which I love. But at that time, when I became a teenager, it was like, okay, but Jean Grey can tear the world apart, and and at the same time you have this other guy who's control rays out of his eyes,
Cyclops, yeah.
and there's consequences from having those powers, and not with Thor, because Thor is a god, and that's very cool. But for example, Scott Summers cannot take his glasses off because he will kill somebody, and Ro cannot touch her partner because she will absorb their powers. So all of those aspects were very interesting to me, and also I gotta say the stories for me were really really cool. The stories from Chris Claremont and John Byrne, and then Chris Claremont again because he stayed in that comic for so many years. And I mean the Hellfire Club, the Dark Phoenix saga, and all of that was, the stories were very cool to me, and the characters were very cool. The character development, the relationships, and I think in some ways it was superior to the Avengers comics, or at least the ones that I was reading back then.
I would definitely agree. Yeah.
Ah,
That's a tough one, Hardaway. There's a lot of those.
I think that precisely that how different they are between each other makes them so unique that it's really really hard for me to pick one. Because, for example, I like Scott Summers as a leader. For me, he's the leader of the X-Men. I liked that they divided them into the blue team, the gold team. I like that. But for me, wherever Scott and Jean were, that was my team. That I'm going there, and of course I'm going to enjoy Ororo's team and whatever, but that's my team. And the thing is, I don't like so much Cyclops as a super powerful character. I like him more, not because of his powers so much, but because his personality and what he does for the team. So I think it's like pieces, and if you take a piece of away, it's not so interesting anymore. So for me, it's more like a team which appeals to me, and I mean personally, and other people may think differently, but if you take Captain America from the Avengers and you make his comic book, it's gonna be interesting because he stands on his own. But if you take Scott Summers out of the X-Men and make a comic book of Scott Summers, I'm not gonna buy it. No,
Yeah, it's
because
funny.
it's like he's cool because of the part he plays in
It's just
that story.
it's just so funny that you say that, Ariel, because literally, I mean, for those that know their comic book history, if you look, Captain America's had a comic book series for I don't bloody well know how long. I mean, it's been restarted. He's been killed. There's been Heroes Reborn. Blah blah blah. His history's long, long, long within the comics. But if you look at Scott Summers as far as an individual character, the only thing I can even think of is the Scott Summers Jean Grey like 4-issue miniseries they did. And I think they might have done a couple other things. But every time they've done something, he has another character with him, whether it's Madeline Pryor or Jean Grey or whatever. I can't even think. I think there might have been a Cyclops like 6-issue miniseries, but I never have seen anything ongoing with that. So it's funny that you say that. Oh yeah, I know that, man. But they
Yeah,
never,
but
they
he's
never made him a main
still
character.
part of the
Yeah,
X-Men story, and I think it's pretty much like a band. I mean, if you have, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, let's say the Beatles. If you took one of them out, it wasn't the same anymore. And I
Oh,
mean, if you take, for example, Lars Ulrich from Metallica, and he goes out on his own and he makes his own band, I'm not really, maybe I'll hear it just to see what's happening there, but I don't, it won't appeal to me. But
no,
as part of Metallica,
uh,
he's part of something, and he plays a huge part in it. And I think that's a good analogy for the X-Men, you
no,
know?
here, let me make it even better for you, Ariel. I'm telling you right now, what it boils down to is the X-Men are Metallica, the Avengers are the Wu-Tang Clan. You know what I mean? I mean, tell me,
Listen,
yeah,
listen. The Avengers are a super group
yeah,
from
yeah.
individuals
Wu-Tang
who
Clan, man.
uh, which come from different parts, and they are assembled to do something. Whereas the X-Men are the X-Men. They're not something else outside of that unit. For me.
Yeah, yeah, no, that totally makes sense, man. It does. I just think it's funny that I was literally wearing this shirt, and that's if there's not a perfect analogy for it, because I mean, Metallica breaks up, Metallica's pretty boned. The Wu-Tang Clan can all respectively go off on their own direction because they have and do whatever they want, and that's what the Avengers do. It's just, it's funny. It's the musician side of me, Ariel. Sorry. Yeah, yeah, it really is. Ooh,
Mhm. Hmm. Well, that's a tough question. But I mean, probably probably somebody from the Rose Gallery of Batman.
I was hoping you were going to say Mr. Sinister. Part of my brain just wanted you to say Mr. Sinister. I won't even lie.
I mean, I one of my favorite villains is Magneto, but I think
Ah,
I wouldn't add to the character.
yeah.
For me, what's been done with him, I'm happy with that. So as much as I love the character, I don't think I can come up with an idea that would be fresh, different, and that would I would feel satisfied with. As whereas with, for example, the Joker, I'm not. I mean, I love the Joker, but I'm not the biggest fan of the Joker. I'm not going buying all of the action figures and T-shirts and everything like some of my friends. They are all the Joker. I love the Joker. I like other villains better. However, I think I would be able to do more stuff as a writer with the Joker that with all those other villains. And the reason for that is that the Batman universe is a psychological one. All of the people in that universe is crazy, and
Including Batman.
you can play
Yeah.
with, including Batman,
Yeah, including, yeah,
especially
I'm
Batman.
glad you agree,
Yeah,
Ariel. Yes, that's
and
right. Batman's a nut
maybe
job.
the only one who's not crazy is Alfred. But and because of that, you can play with their psychology so much more, and you can uh, dig deep into their motifs. That I mean, and they've done it. Maybe that the Joker he is like he is because of abused as a child, but maybe not. Maybe he
Don't,
just likes being like that, or maybe he has another reason that we cannot imagine. And you can play with all of that and do so many different versions. Whereas with Magneto, there are no other versions. He's just what we've seen. And I mean, I love Magneto. I'm a fan of Magneto, but you cannot do as many things with Magneto as with the Joker. With the Joker, I
yeah.
mean, I've thought like of I mean, I actually thought if I could do, I would do a 1 year Batman run in each month. And I had this idea, but I'm not the editor in chief in DC Comics, so I cannot do anything with that idea. But I thought each month I would take a different take on the character, uh, a different version of the character, and you can do many things. Maybe Batman is a crazy guy in Arkham Asylum who's imagining all of that stuff, and he's
Oh,
not very, and that's what appeals to me as a writer, that you can do
you
that crazy stuff. Like Shutter Island kind of stuff.
no, because look, I'm not a fan of Batman. I don't like Bruce Wayne as a character. I think he's the most egocentric a-hole probably in the comic book universe that is not considered a villain, right? Because look, I got all this money. I got all this money. I'm gonna fix Gotham by dressing up in a damn bat suit and fighting people. Dude, you have billions upon billions of dollars, right? Right. Dude, he could fix the entire underbelly of that city if he chose to. He just would rather fly around as a bat and be in.
Because he's crazy.
Yeah,
Exactly, because he's crazy. Otherwise, he would just, work. I don't know, create jobs, uh, do charities, and he does that. But he puts all that effort into. I mean, I don't remember the terms in English, but it's a hopeless cause. He's not going to win that way. He's not going to eliminate every criminal. I mean, he doesn't kill them, but he's not going to eliminate crime in the city. He's not going to succeed. It's an impossible mission. He would make much more good as Bruce Wayne, but he does it because he's crazy. He's a crazy person. He
I mean, you
has
make a
this.
valid
Yeah,
point. Because if he would have a lot better chance of getting rid of crime if he just got rid of poverty in Gotham. You know what I mean? Because then you make it to where people aren't trying to rob somebody for food. You're never going to get rid of all crime. I fully agree with you, Ariel.
I, yeah, but the, exactly, and that makes it interesting. But the other thing, which relates to what you just said, is that also Batman motivates the villains. And I think if Batman didn't exist, maybe the villains would not go so crazy because
I agree.
they're competing against him. So you're doing all of this. I'm gonna do more.
See, I do. That's
Yeah.
why. Can I say sincerely, the reason he got me to stop earlier, Hardaway, is because I'm not a fan of Batman. There are very few Batman comics that I've ever read. One of them would be a favorite of yours, The Killing Joke. I've read Kingdom Come because if you're a comic book fan, like if you consider yourself a real comic book fan that has read comics, I'm sorry, that's just one of the ones you should have read is Kingdom Come, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. If somebody wants to tell me to go off because of it, go ahead. I don't care. Um, but I'm curious, man. That threw my whole thing off. No, yeah, but that's why. And I would love to see that. So if we ever do get the dude that runs DC on here, Errol, I'm gonna put that thought in his head just so you know. I swear on my life, I'd be like, look, this dude put a concept out that would make me read a Batman comic, and I freaking hate Batman unless it involves the Riddler or the Joker. I'm really not gonna read it, because I love those two as villains. But the idea that Batman is in the asylum and it's all in his head. You could do like a 6 to 12 issue miniseries on that, in my opinion, and I think it would be phenomenal to see that flipped on its head like that. You know what I mean? Like to say, oh no, Bruce Wayne's actually been in an asylum ever since his parents got killed because he just went ooh, 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 and Alfred comes and visits him every once in a while, and like really the Joker and all these people are just in the cells next to him, and he's just the psychotic patient that fights
Exactly.
everyone. Yeah, that would, yeah.
Have you seen a film? I think it was with Michael Caine called The Hand. No,
Oh, I'm trying to. I feel, yeah, I feel like I have it
I
on.
think that's the name. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm imagining things.
Uh,
Michael Caine, The Hand. Yes. Well, there's this hand which is killing people, and at the end of the movie, he you find out as a viewer that it's actually himself killing all those people. The hand is his hand. Although he imagines himself as a victim, he's a killer, you know? And maybe Batman is really the Joker and he kills people. And then
well,
comes in as Batman trying to. So that there's like this universe of possibilities with Batman and the Joker. So that's what appeals to me as a creator, as a writer.
you make me want to see your run on Batman, Ariel. To be real honest, like that's
I revealed the secret, but just because I don't think they'll hire me to do it. If I thought they would, I would remain silent.
I'll tell you what, man. I'll tell you what. You never know, Ariel, and you know what? You never know. And I'm pretty sure you could probably put a spin on it to where you could do other things, to where regardless of what anybody has heard over here on the questionnaire, it's not gonna matter because you're gonna be able to put different twists on it. But on a twist, man. Yeah, on a twist, man. So Mr. Mythpixelates, I can't pronounce that character's damn name, I swear. But why do you hate that? Why did you not like that character as a kid, man?
As a kid, because I wanted to see Superman fight against a giant robot or something.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, this little guy, funny guy, it's a villain. Come on, I mean, this is, and I get that he comes from another universe and he's super powerful and all that. I get it, and I get it more now that I'm an adult. But back then, I was like, he doesn't look intimidating. Uh, he doesn't look that powerful. He's a funny guy. I hate him. So at that age, I didn't like that villain because I thought like they're wasting the potential to do a bigger story, a more interesting story.
It's like they
Now
wanted
I am now
yeah.
I'm okay with that character. I'm like, oh, you can do interesting things and all that. But back then, I couldn't stand that character.
All right then. All right then. What character can you not stand now? Come on, Ariel. Answer the question. Answer the question. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now. If he says he can't stand that character, it don't mean he can't write that character. It just means he personally don't like that character. But I want to know based on the answer you gave.
Well, maybe it's not the characters themselves, but the versions of those characters. I think. I think like maybe I don't know the way they I don't know, maybe the way they some creators use those characters is not appealing to me.
Can you
You know,
give an
maybe.
example of that without getting yourself in trouble or getting
Well,
yourself?
I'll give a general example. I really it doesn't appeal to me so much when they take so many villains and turn them into heroes, because it's like, okay, that's a villain. I mean, that's why you have the other guys to be heroes. But when they are like, oh, we're going to redeem this person and this other one and this other one and this other one, it's like it loses.
Yeah, I'll agree that that's become a bit of a problem, and I can't say a lot, man, because look, I am the Wade Wilson of hip hop, man, and I love Deadpool, and I mean, he definitely started out as a villain and then took a turn. But I think if you read Deadpool's entire history and you know it, I think there's an explanation from there, from the beginning to why he turned into an anti-hero and then more of a hero. You know what I mean? I think you
Mhm.
can explain like why he psychologically went like that throughout the comics. But then I
Mhm.
get it because you got like Lobo, Harley Quinn. I honestly couldn't name how
I
many
mean,
things.
when they do it with everyone, it
Yeah,
loses
Magneto even.
that special factor that they had.
Yeah,
If you do it once, it's original. Oh, it's cool. But if they all this character is cool, so let's make him a hero or her. Oh, this other one too, and it's like, I
yeah.
mean,
Well, yeah,
and
Black Adam. Like, oh my God, dude, you got me just thinking of every name. Like, for real, yeah. There is so many. There is so, and technically, Evil Ernie kind of started out as a villain, and he's more of an anti-hero now. But he used to be like, "I will kill the world and everything on it. You will all burn." That was Ernie, and now he's not so much about that. So, yeah, dude, yeah, you bring up a very, very, very valid point. I'm
and the
curious.
other thing about that is that uh, I mean, sometimes in some cases, not in all, they take these characters who are murderers and that they've killed several people, and sometimes not like in war when where you have to defend yourself or anything. No, but they do it. They murder people and they enjoy it, and then they redeem them, and I don't think a person can really come back from that.
See, and can I say that's why I like Deadpool in that instance, man, because you can see in the comics he still extremely enjoys violence. And then they even did like a story recently where his daughter was threatened, and he literally was like, "Yeah, yeah, I know, lady, you're nothing, but this dude said if I didn't kill you, my daughter was gonna die, so I killed you. I'm sorry, like I did it while you were in your sleep. I just injected you with something, but I did totally face the fact that you have to die for my kid to live, and that's just the way it is. So there
Mhm.
is still kind of that villain aspect to him
Yeah,
in that. I appreciate they left that, but they do that like Magneto. Magneto's pretty much a full blown hero now.
but I mean, it's different because, for example, Deadpool is a mercenary, and
Yeah.
he's used to war and the casualties of war and all of that stuff. Whereas there are villains who kidnap an individual, torture them, and kill them, and then later on you turn them into a hero. And for me, that doesn't make sense. It's
Yeah,
different for me.
Harley Quinn, I think, is a perfect example of that. Look, that bitch, that she's still totally, dude. The things she did, I'm actually, they're pretty irredeemable. Anti-hero, whatever. I don't.
Listen, I like Harley Quinn, and I'm not against what they've done with her. But the fact that they try to do that whenever a character becomes popular, that that was what bothers me. That oh, this character is popular, so
Oh,
oh.
good question,
Mhm.
Hardaway. That's a good one, bro. Obviously, you got him thinking.
Well, I mean, I would have to find someone because I mean, it would have to make an interesting story, and it would have to make sense, because in reality there are things that can happen to people that turn them into bad people. You know, if if you live in a city where you have everything, and it's not as if you live in a city that was bombed uh, by somebody, and you see your family die, they are killed, and all of that can have a deep psychological effect on people. So that would be interesting to me to see that the turning point where a person became a hero. How could they have become a villain? And it's been done, but I mean, maybe I would find a way to make it fresh and interesting. So I would say, I don't know, I don't know. I would have to think about it, because I mean, I wouldn't want to pick one that, uh, because we've already seen that in Superman with Injustice, and mm,
Cyclops
we
as well kind of went full villain at one
Cyclops,
point.
and actually, I found
Yeah,
that very interesting. How
yeah, that was
Cyclops,
yeah.
yeah, that was a good character development for me, and I was disappointed in the sense that I mean, well, I'm not really gonna think about him the same as I did before, because now he's like wacko, you know. And but it's pretty interesting, um, as a reader, to see that. I
Yeah, and I
would
think it
probably
did
pick
away with it.
someone similar, but
Ooh,
since it's been done with Cyclops, I would have to find like a different way to do it, you know?
yeah. See,
But
because
I
they've done it
really
with
don't know.
Cyclops. Yeah, and they've done it with Captain America. Though technically, Cap didn't turn. It was the whole clone and Hydra thing. So technically, it wasn't Steve
Mm,
Rogers. Um, yeah, man. You know, can I say someone that I would love to just straight see turn villain? Just and I mean, I don't know how you'd write it. It would probably have to involve Loki. Would be Thor. Like to see Thor
mhm.
really lose it and just be like, you know what? I'm gonna just break the Avengers. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like Scarlet Witch did in the just Avengers Disassembled event. But I want to flip the script real quick, man, because you know, like I said, we do a pre-show questionnaire over here at the questionnaire. That's why it's called the questionnaire. Yeah, that's what we do. Um, and you said classical and heavy metal for your favorite. That is an interesting combination. That like, can I say like I can't imagine going from like Beethoven to the fifth to like some Metallica or something. How like is that specifically a mood thing for you, or do you really like do you just flip flop back and forth as far as you're listening to a classical track and then some metal, or is it really like the mood? And is it something for your writing or your art as far as when you're or art writing or art for that matter when you're working? Is there a particular one you would like between those two?
Well, there are. It's more like, I like classical music for many reasons. One of them, it's because it relaxes me. The other one is the musicality of it. You know,
Ah,
uh, there's some stuff there that not everyone can play. You know, and the arrangements are complex, and it, classical music touches like some part of the emotional center of the human being, where you feel this beauty that you don't, well, at least I do, I don't feel it with any other kind of music, you
you
know.
don't feel it with some good hip hop, man. Aw.
And but actually metal has these elements from classical music. And for example, I'm a fan, I mean, I like classic rock also. I like Led Zeppelin, I like ACDC, I like Metallica, Megadeth. But I like more Iron Maiden, because Iron Maiden incorporates all of these elements from uh, more like Scandinavian music, you know, like from past cultures. So they take that and they take also the mythical aspects of those cultures into their lyrics. So for me, it's like, you know, it moves something in me that other bands do not. Uh, Having said that, also, for example, Metallica has a sense of epicness to their music and to their lyrics. So I'm drawn to that in those aspects. Uh, but also, yeah, whenever, for example, it's late and I'm still working, I haven't finished my page. Uh, I do put some heavy metal just to stay awake. So it works for that too.
I'll listen to classical and heavy metal. Heavy metal makes my head hurt.
Huh? I don't know, man. I don't like it. I really don't like it.
It's
And
like I just don't like it, man. Leave the guest alone, Hardaway. Stop picking on Ariel. Shit, man. I mean, I will give you that is yeah, like because I like some reggae, man. I really do. Like that's. Wait, well, what
yes,
is
different.
reggaeton? Okay, well then maybe I need to look what reggaeton. What is reggaeton? We'll get into that later. That's got nothing to do with the interview. Hardaway, we'll discuss it later. Right? As a musician, I'm kind of annoyed that I don't know that, but whatever. I do hip hop, and that's where my culture is. Um, you got something, Hardaway? All right, good, good, good. Well, man, I always got something in my head, and you know that, Hardaway. I just wanted to make sure you got some questions in, bro, because it's about that time. But before we get to that time, right? I just want to say, Errol, do me a favor, man. Just let everybody know one more time everything you've got going on right now. Just run through it, dude. Tell them where they can find you, all that stuff.
Well, right now I'm doing. I finished Adelita 3017, and we're working on doing the Kickstarter. Actually, if I would tell people if they want to know more about the project, if they want to get exclusive news and also get a link to the preview of the book. Go to adelita.com, adelita3017.com. There
Hey,
you
real quick,
find.
I don't mean to interrupt you, Ariel, but the link will be in the description
Oh,
for
okay,
the
okay.
YouTube. Yeah, I'll have all these links set up for you. So if you want to, I'm telling you, just say the link, tell them it'll be in the description, because I will put it in the description for you, man, just out of love.
Okay, so if they go there, they'll be able to look at little bit of information there and also subscribe to receive the newsletter for news. Now, besides that, I'm working on a book that's called. I actually finished the second issue of Milestone, and they're doing the Kickstarter for the first issue, which I did a year ago. Uh, it's almost out. I don't have the exact date, and also I'm doing a comic book about killer chickens, giant killer chickens, and it's called Chickens in the Mist. So that's a lot of fun, and it's based on an I think it's RPG game or something like that.
That sounds phenomenal, Ariel. So much. I still want to see and read that. But real quick. No, I got one last question, and then we're gonna do a couple things, and we're gonna wrap it up. I feel like I've taken enough of your time to be sincere, but I want to know what. Oh, okay. You threw me off with that motion, Hardaway. Uh, what do you think as far as the impact that Kickstarter has had on the comic book industry? Because obviously, I mean, if for anyone that is into actual getting comics and all of that, you know it's become prevalent, man. I mean, do you think it's been a more negative or positive force, and why?
Well, from my perspective, it's been good because it has allowed creators to actually do their thing, and in some cases, at least get some money out of it. And there's work for artists that wasn't there without Kickstarter, and in that sense, I think it's pretty good. Um, I don't know if it's something that will go on forever, but I hope so because many people are putting out their stuff, and some of it is really, really interesting. Uh, and This is gonna be my with Adelita is gonna be my first Kickstarter. I've been part as an artist of all other Kickstarters, but not. I've never done my own Kickstarter, so I hope it's successful. And
Well, I hope, yeah, I hope we're able to help get people there, man. Because like I said, the link to his Kickstarter will be in the comments. You can go check it out, donate, all of that, man. And I hope it takes off the ground because everything I've seen from you, Ariel, has been phenomenal. I look forward
thank you,
to that graphic novel for Evil Ernie coming out so I can pick it up,
thank
especially
you,
based on the conversation we've had as far as the change in the character and everything. That makes me very interested because it's always been Ernest Fairchild. So I'm really interested to see where exactly that was taken in that. Because like I said, as long as Smiley's there, I really, in my opinion, that's the thing that makes Ernie Ernie is Smiley the psychotic button. You know, I don't know that everybody. There's probably somebody that's in the comments right now. I'm telling you, if it's not Ernest Fairchild, whatever, bro. Chill out. I'm sorry Civil War didn't have Ant-Man die. All right? Shh, take a chill pill, you know? Uh, but hey, before we cut out, Ariel, can I just get you to be like, yo, this is Ariel Medel. You're listening to the Questionnaire. And just if you want to just run a little after that, man, say whatever, pops in your head, say it.
yeah. Just let me try to pronounce it. The
The question.
questionnaire.
There you go. You got it, bro. Got it in one.
The questionnaire. Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Ariel Medel, and you're listening to the questionnaire. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, Ariel, man, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you coming on. For everyone watching, I am the unknown factor, the Wade Wilson of hip hop, 1/6 of Zay with my brother Jay D-Day Hardaway. Yeah. And I'm telling you, if if you've appreciated the interview and you like what Ariel does, do me a favor, right? Remember, he likes the color blue, and you can send him some Mexican food, you can send him some Asian food, or you can get one of them OG Boba Fett's, the one with the missile that shoots, right? And send it his way, right? If you if you don't like this and you don't like Ariel, send him a werewolf, I guess. Have a good night, y'all.
Thank you. Bye.